After sailing around 2,000 nautical miles from Kodiak Island, Alaska, we have arrived in Vancouver in Canada, and last week we explored the city by bike. One morning we woke up by getting hit by a sailboat in Falls Creek. We also paid a visit to Mustang Survival and got to see how PFDs and fall weather gear are made.
If you drive north from Vancouver and onto the Sea to Sky Highway, you reach Squamish. It's a small town that is internationally known for its good rock climbing.
So we're outside Squamish and we're going to walk up to one of the peaks overlooking the Squamish and the surrounding waters here. Going to walk with Greg and Linda Yo. We met them the first time in Martinique when we were in the Caribbean.
Hi guys!
Good morning.
Good morning!
It is truly a beautiful day today.
It is. Beautiful. You think it's going to be a good hike?
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be glorious, yeah.
And
We'll get our exercise though, a steep hike, lots of work.
Yeah. So I think it's like 500 height meters we're going to walk today. So it's pretty high. It'll probably take us, 2 hours, 3 hours.
The Stawan Chief is one of the largest granite monoliths in the world. We were going to hike to the second peak, a 1.7 kilometer trail with an elevation gain of 590 meters. 1.7 kilometers doesn't sound much, but this trail is not a walk in the park.
How's the cardio?
Bad.
How are you doing, Greg?
It's like 2001: A Space Odyssey. I just hear my breathing like I'm in the space helmet.
Talking to hell.
For being late September, the sun was warm. Just the perfect day for a hike.
So we don't have to go there.
Are we on the top?
I don't think so.
Okay. Almost.
Pretty close.
One section of the hike did involve a bit of climbing, but the park had put up chains to make it easier.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah. Really cool place.
I know.
Yeah, it's a little
That's
squeeze
a
here.
high one. Right how to push the butt. That's okay.
Over there is the first peak, at 540 meters above sea level.
The view from the top was spectacular, with the sediment-rich water from Squamish River below and the snow-covered mountaintops in the distance. We could see Mount Garibaldi, which is a potential active stratovolcano. However, the most recent activity occurred around 10,000 years ago.
I think my knees are gonna hurt.
So we fueled up a bit, got some food.
We took another trail down through a big gully with giant cedar and sequoia trees. It looked magical with the sun shining through the canopy.
So beautiful here. Really nice waterfall all the way down. Now when the sun is coming straight into the valley here. Looks kind of inviting, doesn't it? The water.
Yeah.
Go in and have a swim.
We're almost down. Only these horrible stairs. No stairs. Yeah.
Oh my word.
Oh, I don't have this to descend.
We just hiked up to a mountaintop.
But it was a nice hike.
Oh, it was great. It really was. We finished the day by eating some delicious Lebanese food in Squamish.
Since we left Hawaii and sailed north, there have been many followers that have reached out from the Pacific Northwest area. So we decided to put together a meetup. Questions and answers Q&A. Cape Horn, Antarctica, and South Florida Island. We did a short presentation followed by a Q&A, and we got pretty overwhelmed by all the people that showed up.
When we met 4.5 years ago, I had never been on a sailboat. I had never been sailing before, but our first date was aboard Ron, our boat. We had
never thought that we were going to host something like this when we left Sweden 3 years ago. It was so great to meet some of you guys who watch our videos. Do it the same now, but I guess that's why you're young. I mean, you need to.
We just made it ashore when we saw this. The boat in front of us was dragging anchor fast and hit Ron. It was a bit windy, but only around 20 to 25 knots. But that was enough to create some chaos in Falls Creek. Okay, I don't know what Ron is going to do. But I think Ron is fine.
Yeah, it's dragging pretty fast. Huh? Pretty fast. Yeah. No, but nothing happened. Just a scratch on the freeboard, but it's nothing major. I just lifted the solar panel, but there was no problem with it. And it seems to have stopped over there, but yeah. Some scratches here. This one and one the whole way back. And this one is too deep to polish out. Yeah, and this one too. This is through the paint.
Boats started dragging here and there, and emergency calls on the radio kept coming.
Yeah, I'll be there in like 10 minutes. Over. Okay, thank you very much. It's gonna cost you though. Yeah, I figured so. Yeah, we copy that as well. We'll stand by and see what rescue says.
It was pretty clear that many of the boats weren't anchored properly. The boat that hit us only had around 10 meters of chain out on a depth of 8 meters. It is recommended to have a scope that is at least 3 to 5 times the depth. The anchor must have enough chain for it to be able to dig in well on the bottom, and also so that the pull on the anchor is parallel to the bottom and not straight up to the boat. Just another eventful day in the anchorage.
It smells special.
What's that?
It smells like
Oh,
something
yes,
oil.
yeah. There's lots of maintenance that goes
Our
on.
patron Murray had invited us to his work, and he has a pretty cool one. Murray is a helicopter cameraman for a big news channel in Vancouver, and we were going to join him for 2 flights.
I'll record and transmit back to our station, and depending on the scope of the story, if it's something that the rest of the country's interested in, they can all tap into it. So that's kind of how it works.
If for some reason you were to ditch in the water, you get outside the aircraft and pull on these beads.
Antennas that go all the way around.
Oh yeah, like in so it's omnidirectional or?
Yeah, well, I have it set on directional, so it links up to the GPS that's in the machine.
Yeah.
And if I tell it I want it to hit Mount Seymour, it just keeps activating the plate. Like I say, it's 15-year-old technology now, but gyro stabilized on 3 axes.
Yeah.
It's got a 1,000mm lens on it with a double extender, and yeah, it's served us really, really well over the years. But really, it's time for an upgrade. We used to have, well, you can see the remnants of a pencil cam here that shoots to the seat back where Mullen was sitting.
Yeah.
And when a reporter would sit in that seat back in its heyday, I would use a switcher that's in my back panel. I could switch up that camera, send it live.
Oh, yeah.
He or she would do the report to camera, and then I would switch to this camera, whatever.
Oh, cool.
You know, so.
Yeah.
Longer than I care to tell you.
The flight started at the international airport, and we flew towards the city center. It was still pretty windy, so it was nice that we could use the super zoom on Chopper 9's camera to see that Ron was still okay.
This ski slope was so close to the city, Vancouver has so many outdoor activities in the surrounding area.
Okay, thanks.
Did you enjoy that?
Yes!
Huh?
It was awesome.
What did you think?
Fantastic. Really cool.
Did you get enough pictures?
I think so. Oh, it was so much fun. I couldn't stop looking down. So different from the Cessna that we flew last summer.
Yeah.
This was so smooth. Oh, I want to become an helicopter pilot now.
Yeah. Definitely.
Or a cameraman. The job Murray has. Wow, that must be such a cool job.
As I say, I'm the luckiest guy in the entire network, or one of the luckiest guys in the network, because this has been my gig for the last like 14 or 15 years.
Yeah, you have a really nice job, that's for sure.
What's the best thing about it?
The best thing about it? Well, the best thing about it is the hunt. I've always enjoyed the hunt part of it, and we've seen some pretty incredible things. Jim was the pilot that we just had was with us when we were on our way across to Vancouver Island, and we happened to stumble across a superpod of Pacific white-sided dolphins heading north. And I estimated there was probably about 200 animals, and they were all heading north.
Fantastic.
And that was a pretty big deal. That was one of the most incredible experiences that we've had.
So we're ready for a second flight.
Ready for a second flight.
Exciting.
Okay, your headset's right here.
Thank you.
There you go.
Murray prepared his camera gear for the new flight. And this time we were going to broadcast live for the evening news. During the flight, the news control room called up Murray asking for different shots. We could follow the news live on the small TV screens. And the shots from the camera were broadcasted live on the news directly, without any delay. For the weather, they wanted a shot of the city and the sunset.
Are we gonna give up sailing to go fly helicopters
We
instead?
should get
Maybe Ron needs a helicopter on the
yeah,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
That
a
would
good
be
idea.
perfect.
We get a boat with a helicopter.
Bit bigger boat. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed the episode. Please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to get notified when we have a new episode. See you next week.